The power of personal responsibility and accountability. A long story. In a small town nestled among rolling hills and flowing rivers, there lived a man named Jacob. Jacob, like many in the town, had always been an average worker, content with doing the minimum required at his job and making sure things ran smoothly, but never really going above and beyond. He worked in the local bakery, a family-owned business that had been in town for over 50 years. The bakery was well known, and people loved the fresh bread and pastries they produced every day. Despite the town's love for the bakery, Jacob wasn't particularly passionate about his work. He followed his routine, performed the tasks given to him, and never really thought much about what his role meant to the bakery's success. In his mind, his job was just a means to an end, something that paid the bills and allowed him to live comfortably. One day, the owner of the bakery, Mr. Thompson, who had managed the business for decades, fell ill. His daughter, Emily, was left in charge, and though she was eager to keep the family tradition alive, she lacked the experience her father had. With Mr. Thompson's absence, the bakery's operations began to falter. Orders were delayed, the quality of the pastries declined, and fewer people started coming to the shop. The team felt lost without their leader, and morale was low. As weeks passed, Jacob noticed the bakery's declining state. Still, he shrugged it off, thinking, "It's not my problem. I'm just a worker here. Emily will figure it out." And yet, deep inside, he knew that things were different. The shop he had worked at for years, where he had spent most of his days, was struggling. And while he kept performing his tasks, he began to feel uneasy about his own role in the bakery's decline. One particularly slow afternoon, as Jacob stared at the near-empty display case, an elderly woman entered the shop. She was a regular customer, always coming in for a loaf of bread and a cup of tea. This time, she looked around and sighed. "It's sad, isn't it?" she said to Jacob, her voice soft but full of concern. "Sad?" Jacob asked, a bit startled. "Seeing the bakery like this. I've been coming here for decades. It used to be lively, the shelves full, the smell of fresh bread filling the air. But now, well, it's different, isn't it?" Jacob nodded, feeling a pang of guilt. The old woman continued, "You know, dear, this bakery is part of the community. It's not just Emily's responsibility to keep it alive. It belongs to all of you, the workers, the customers. It's about pride in what you do. You've worked here for years, haven't you?" Jacob hesitated but nodded again. "Yes, but I'm just an employee. It's not my place to run things. I just do what I'm told." The woman smiled kindly. "Ah, but that's where you're wrong. Responsibility isn't just about doing what you're told. It's about taking ownership. You may not own the bakery, but you have a role in its success or failure. It's your actions, your decisions that shape what this place becomes." Her words struck a chord with Jacob. He had never thought of it that way. He had always seen himself as a cog in the machine, not realizing that his work, his attitude, and his care could influence the entire business. After the old woman left, Jacob couldn't stop thinking about what she had said. That night, as he lay in bed, he reflected on his years at the bakery. He realized that he had been content with mediocrity, doing the bare minimum because he didn't think it mattered. But now he saw that it did. Every piece of bread he baked, every interaction with a customer, and every time he took initiative could make a difference. The next day, Jacob arrived at the bakery early, determined to approach his work with a new mindset. Instead of waiting for instructions, he took the initiative to organize the kitchen, clean the equipment, and prepare ingredients for the day. He noticed that the dough wasn't rising as well as it used to, so he took the time to experiment with different yeast combinations until he found one that produced the perfect texture. Slowly, the quality of the bread improved. Jacob also began helping Emily more, offering suggestions and taking on extra responsibilities. He started greeting customers with a smile, engaging in conversations, and listening to their feedback. He even took it upon himself to design new pastries, something he had never considered before. As the weeks passed, the bakery began to change. Word spread about the improvements, and customers started returning. The shelves were once again filled with fresh, warm bread, and the smell of baking filled the air. Jacob's newfound sense of personal responsibility had not only improved the quality of the products, but had also lifted the spirits of the entire team. One day, Emily pulled Jacob aside. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. You've really stepped up. The bakery feels alive again, and I couldn't have done it without you." Jacob smiled, feeling a sense of pride he hadn't experienced before. It wasn't about receiving praise or recognition. It was about knowing that he had made a difference by taking ownership of his role. Over time, Jacob's approach to life changed. He began to see personal responsibility and accountability in every aspect of his life. Whether it was at work, at home, or in his relationships, he realized that the key to success and fulfillment wasn't just doing what was expected, but going beyond, taking responsibility for his actions, and understanding that he had the power to shape the outcomes. Years later, the bakery became more successful than ever, expanding to new locations, and Jacob was promoted to head baker. But more than the title or the financial rewards, what mattered most to Jacob was the lesson he had learned. That personal responsibility and accountability weren't just about doing your job. They were about taking pride in your work, owning your choices, and understanding that you had the power to influence the world around you. And so, Jacob's journey became a testament to the profound impact of personal responsibility, showing that when you take ownership of your life, you not only change your own destiny, but the destiny of those around you.